is to announce the extermination of a vile group of people called the Jewish people. And when Mordecai saw it, he was tormented and he was seized with grief, and he tore his raiment and put on sackcloth and ashes, and he ran to Esther's palace, and he threw rocks on her window. Esther! Esther! And she knew that voice, and she looked down. It was like, him again. What is it? What is it, Mordecai? Stop making so much noise. He said, Esther, something has happened. We didn't expect this, but Haman is going to kill us all. There are notices that have went out all over the land. And you are a Jew, and don't think you will escape. If you don't do something, you will also die. And so Esther was stunned. Well, what can I do? I just work here. And he said, you are the king's wife. You have the privilege of going before him. But I haven't been before him. I haven't been before him in a long time. I've been having fun with my maidens. And I have a haircut coming. And he said, no. You've got to act, and you must act quickly. If you do not, all of your people will perish, and so will you. And then she got the point. And she said, well, if he lowers his scepter, I'm okay. But if he keeps it upright, I'm cooked. But nevertheless, if I perish, I perish. And then Mordecai said to her, who knows, Esther, but that you have come into the kingdom for such a time as this. Oh, Mordecai, I will get my maidens together. We will fast and pray as we did once in our home for 3 days. Then I shall go before the king. And if I perish, I perish, I perish, I perish. And so Mordecai left her presence and went to do the same. And pretty soon, the women were all doing without food and water for 3 days. Because fasting and prayer changes the hand of God. 1 day passed. A second day passed. And on the third day, there's a lot of significance to the third day. She put on her very best raiment, and she went to the palace, and she knocked on the door. Weak from having not eaten or drunk for 3 days. But the king saw it was Esther, and he said, oh, my wife, it's so long that I see you. Come in. What is your petition? What is your request? And she bowed down before him. O king, may you live forever. But I would like to invite you and Haman to come to my palace and have Spanish food. And so the night came, and Haman was overjoyed. He couldn't wait. I can't believe this. I'm killing the Jews. I'm going to the queen's house. Surely there's a God in heaven. And so they went and rang the doorbell. And Esther herself opened the door and said, "Oh, sit down. We're having burritos, tostados, lots of sour cream." And all Haman could do was feed his face and make terrible sounds and odors. But the king enjoyed it immensely, and he thought, "Oh, my queen, this is beautiful. And do you have any of that Spanish rice and beans over there?" "Yes, oh, my king, may you live forever. Here they are. And would you like some sauces and some salsa?" "Oh, yes, and flautas and flan for dessert." And they just ate like, I'm sorry to say it, pigs. And so they bid each other good night. And the king said, "But, oh, queen, what is your petition? What is your request? I'll give it to you up to half my kingdom." She said, "Oh, king, may you live forever. Could I invite you and Haman tomorrow night as well? We're having Korean food." Then Haman went home and told his wife Zeresh, "Oh, you just don't know. I'm really getting somewhere in this kingdom. Maybe I'll even be king one day." And she said, "Oh, you do this all the time. Do you not understand, Haman? The Jews are very special people. You don't mess with them. There's something about them. I'm not sure what, but there's something about them. And if you plan on murdering them, the same could happen to you. And don't forget, you got 10 sons. You gonna do this to our family?" And he said, "Oh, woman, be quiet. I'm gonna have the gallows constructed today, and upon those gallows will hang Mordecai. And we'll see how Jewish he is. We'll see. And the whole world says, if you're the king of the Jews, come down from there. And Mordecai, if you're the big Jew." But there was a greater Jew to come. And it's exactly what Hasatan wanted. All the Jews to be exterminated, so that the greatest Jew who ever lived and ever would live, Yeshua HaMashiach, would not be born. But God always has a plan. God always has a plan. God always has a plan. So the gallows were built for Haman, or so, for Mordecai, or so Haman thought. And the evening fell. And the king and Haman went up to Esther's palace again. "Well, I don't know anything about Korean food, but I bet it's good," said the king. "Oh boy, oh boy, oh joy, said Haman. "I love food. I don't care what it is. Except some of that Jewish food." Well, the king just let this pass over his head. He had a tendency to imbibe anyway. So they rang the doorbell. And then Esther answered the door. "Oh, king, may you live forever." And Haman. She didn't say, "May you live forever." Sit down. First, we're going to have side dishes. And kimchi. Now I'd like to present you with a delicious short rib soup called galbitang. And pearl rice. It's delicious, my queen. And Haman was so in his glory, he couldn't quit eating. And he slurped all the way through the meal with the usual odors and sounds. And time observed it. And the king said, oh, queen, you're so imaginative and gifted. What is your petition? What is your request? And she said, oh, king, may you live forever, but I may not. Well, what do you mean, Queenie Pooh? No. Someone is going to try to kill me and my people, for I am a Jew. And there's indications that my people will be exterminated. And that means I will be as well. And the king said, oh, I jumped up. Who would do this to you, my beloved queen? And she pointed to Haman. The king was outraged. And he ran out onto the portico outside. He was furious. He didn't know what to think. The one he had trusted betrayed him. And then Haman said, and he rushed the queen, and he got onto her lap and touched her knees. At that moment, the king came back in and said, and you touched my wife? Off with you. Call the guards. You will be exterminated tonight. And how many sons do you have? The queen said, one more petition. He's got 10. Would you do away with them too? And he said, yes. And then the enemies were destroyed. In that generation. Come morning, Haman was swinging in the breeze at the end of a rope. And his 10 sons, who were as wicked as he, also. But Mordecai was weeping with joy. And so was Esther and her king. And she commanded everyone, write letters, have parties throughout the land, for our people will live. They will live. And they will not forget. They lived because one person stood up against the tide of evil. One person opened her mouth and protested the evil being done. Stand up, stand up, stand up at Purim. Stand up and praise his name. Stand up, stand up, stand up for Yeshua. Stand up, never be ashamed. We will never, 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 never be ashamed. We will never, 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 never be ashamed. We will never, 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 never be ashamed of the good news. Stand up, stand up, stand up at Purim. Stand up and praise his name. Stand up, stand up for Yeshua. Stand up, never be ashamed. We will never, 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 never be ashamed. We will never, 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 never be ashamed. Never, 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 never be ashamed of the good news of Israel high, on Israel high, on Israel, on Israel, on Israel high, on Israel high, on Israel high, on Israel, on Israel, on Israel.